I'm going to start with a artist's impression of the STEM section of University of Technology, Sydney. So back in April, we had a presentation from our colleagues in the Faculty of Engineering and Information Technology, the Data Science Institute. We're in the Faculty of Science, and we're a group of mainly statisticians within the mathematics discipline. And the two faculties are separated by the geographical feature known as Jones Street Ultimo. So we have 8 full-time academics who we'll talk about on the next slide. We have 2 fractional professors who are both very distinguished international statisticians, Professor Peter Green and Professor Louise Ryan, as well as some postdocs and doctoral students. So as of today, there's about 19 of us in total. So here are the 8 regular staff members. It's led by my colleague James Brown and I. So we're the professors of statistics, and the others are lecturers and senior lecturers in statistics. So our identity is, I guess, tied to the fact that we are in a mathematics discipline Faculty of Science situation. So we're teaching into things such as the Bachelor of Mathematical Sciences, Master of Science, also quantitative finance is part of our faculty and discipline, and we're connected with that as well as, and also forensics. We do have at least some level of industry engagement. So this is a list of some of the mainly, I guess, government type bodies that we've have interactions with. Although it's really, I'd say, just a subset of us that are involved with industry engagement, and most of us are more involved with teaching and research. So on to research, and here I'm using orange for specific applications. So we have areas such as hydrology, criminology, forensics, sports science, meteorology, tied to our research. And in blue, there's just the generic aspects. So we're also just doing generic statistical methodology and software that could be applied to any particular area that has data. And these are some of the themes, such as computational mathematics and statistics and Bayesian computing. So now moving on to grants. So we have been a node, and we are, as of today, a node of the Australian Research Council Centre of Excellence for Mathematical and Statistical Frontiers. We have, one of our colleagues has had a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Fellowship back when Bill and Melinda Gates were an item. We've had 3 discovery project grants with the Australian Research Council and a few other ones, including connections with the health funders from both Australia and the United States. All right, so now on to other prestige factors, and there's too many here to go through in a lot of detail, but I'll talk about the ones where we've had multiple successes. So we've won the Pittman Medal, which is the main medal for the Statistical Society of Australia twice. 3 of us are elected members of national science academies. And my colleagues that I mentioned earlier, Louise Ryan and Peter Green, have been editors of the journals Statistics in Medicine and Statistical Science. The next one is actually one of my favourites. Gone on to postdocs in the US's Ivy League or UK's Oxbridge. We've been so successful at this one that there's no words that rhyme with mice that describe it unless you accept twice. And we've also won New South Wales's main postgraduate presentation award thrice. All right, so now I'm going to talk a bit about what makes us different from our colleagues across Jones Street. Actually, I've since learned that they're in a new building that's on our side of Jones Street, so we don't even have to cross Jones Street to visit them. So I started by looking at the Clarivate Web of Science and journals that are classified as statistics and probability. And the top 8 from that list, using one of their citation measures, is given here on this slide. And except for Econometrica, we've published in all of these journals in the last few years. So these are the sort of journals that I guess we think of as being the cream of the crop that we aim to get into for our generic statistics, methodology, and theory type research. But then we're also getting papers published in applied journals, mainly in areas of science. And this list I came up with by just going through the 8 people from that photo board and just choosing one paper from each person. So all of us are involved in applied statistics in varying degrees. So now, just to finish off, I'm going to talk a little bit about how do we differ, I guess, from our colleagues over in engineering. And I went to their web pages, and these are some of the journals that come up in their publications. And these are not ones that are classified as statistics and probability. So it is a different type of data science, I guess, compared to our type of data science in the statistics and probability classification that we tend to work in. So in comparison with the University of Technology Data Science Institute, we, the UTS Statistics and Data Science Group, are geared towards the statistics side and involved in various statistical societies such as the Australian Stat Society and the American Statistical Association. We work on applications largely driven by our Faculty of Science affiliation, and we're not as industry focused as a non-institute and more involved with regular academic pursuits such as teaching. All right, so my clock says I've got about a minute to go, so I'll just quickly go through our group of 8 regular staff. So James works mainly in sample survey. Angeli's mainly in forensics. Shev's in computational mathematics and meteorology. Matthias is very interested in Bayesian inference and computing. Adele works in natural language processing and applications to law. I work in areas such as non-parametric regression and Bayesian computing. Joanna works in crime statistics and statistical methodology in general. And Steve works in ecology and applied probability. Thank you.